Good day, grade 8. Welcome to the third quarter. Before we start our lesson, I want you to get the copy of your module and your pen as well as your scientific calculator so that you will be guided accordingly as I discuss our topic. So for today's topic, we have the measures of variation, which is range. Actually, the measures of variation uh, includes many types. Pero for this lesson, we'll focus on range. And after this lesson, you are expected to illustrate the measure of variability or range of a statistical data. Calculate the measures of variability of grouped and ungrouped data. Let's start with the measures of variation. The measures of variation is a single value that is used to describe the spread of the scores in a distribution. Research investigators determine these measures so that they can test the reliability of the average value under consideration. Okay, so kung ang mga huli natin na-discuss is the measures of central tendency, which measures a single data that describes the whole entity, and then the measures of position, which describes the location of a point in a data set. Okay, so for the measures of variation, we are trying to describe the spreadness of the scores or the variation of the scores. So for this topic, we will focus on range, wherein yung una natin discuss is the range for ungrouped data or for raw data. So for us to get the value of range, we just have to determine the highest entry, which is the maximum score, and then the lowest entry, which is the minimum score. Kunin lang natin yung difference nila. Okay? So we have two interpretations for range. We have when the range value is large, so kapag malaki yung value, the scores in the distribution are more dispersed, widespread, or heterogeneous. Otherwise, when the range is or the range value is small, the scores in the distribution are less dispersed, less scattered, or homogeneous. Okay? So again, kapag ang value ng range natin ay malaki, kaya malaking value siya, that means the scores ay more dispersed, mas hiwa-hiwalay. Kapag naman ang range value natin is small or maliit na value, ibig sabihin, dikit-dikit yung scores or less dispersed siya. Okay? So, ang isa lang bagay na, kumbaga, ay not so good kay range, it is easily affected by extreme scores. Okay? So, ang extreme scores natin ay yung tinatawag nating mga outliers kung saan pwedeng magkaroon ng sobrang taas or sobrang baba ng scores. And since sa ating range nga kanina na nabanggit, kinukuha natin dito yung difference ng highest score and lowest score. So, kapag meron tayong extreme scores, mabilis maapektuhan ang ating range. So, I have here an example, which is also found in your module. We have find the range of the ages of selected male and female teachers of a certain school. Okay, so we have here 4 columns, pero mag-focus tayo sa first 2 columns. Okay, so male, meron tayo ditong male. And yung nakalagay dito under ng column ng male are the ages of the selected male faculty or teachers of a certain school. Okay, so for us to get the range, okay, so for us to get the range, let us represent R, or let us represent range as R, then equals the highest score, which is HS, minus the lowest score, LS. Okay, so let us just determine the highest score. So, kung mapapansin nyo, it is also arranged in ascending order yung scores. Pero, most of the time, yung given ay hindi arranged. So, kailangan yung hanapin yung highest score or lowest score. So, for this case lang, arranged na siya. So, mas madali natin makita. Okay, so, we have 24 as our lowest score or the lowest entry, and we have 40 as our highest score, the highest entry. So, simply, we just have to get the difference of 40 and 24. So, the range is 16. Okay? So, this is the range for the ages of the male faculty of a certain school. How about the range for the female faculty? So, same is true with the formula. We have R is equal to HS minus LS. So, the highest score For the female, for the last two columns, okay, again, siya ay arrange into ascending order. Okay, so 28 is the lowest score and 34 is the highest score. So let us just substitute 34 minus 28. So we have 6. So ang range natin naman for the girls, or for the female rather, for the female faculty is 6. Okay, so for the interpretation, this computation shows that based on this measure, the male teachers' ages are higher and more scattered and varied, while the females' ages are more consistent and clustered. So, para sa example lang na ito, so based sa ating given, mas dispersed at mas scattered ang scores ng male faculty compared with the female faculty, because in the female faculty, mas maliit yung value. So, ibig sabihin, more consistent and clustered yung scores nila. Okay? Let us proceed with another. So, I have here another example wherein we are asked to find the range of two groups of score distribution. Compare the range of the two distribution. Okay? So, we have two columns here. Let me divide this into two. Okay? And then, same lang ang ating formula. We have range is equal to highest score minus lowest score. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo, naka-arrange ulit siya into ascending order. Mas mabilis naman nating mahanap kapag ka ganun, ano? Okay. So, for the high score, we have 35. And for the lowest score, we have 10. So, simply to get the range, we get the difference. So, we have 25. So, the range of the group A is 25. How about the group B? Okay, so range is equal to HS minus LS. So range is equal to 30 minus 15. Okay, so the range is 15. So we are asked to compare the range of these two score distribution. Now, anong mapapansin nyo sa score distributions ng dalawang groups? Okay, so dapat ang interpretation natin should be the range of group A, which is 25, is greater than the range of group B, which is 15. The implication of this is that the scores in group A are more spread out than the scores in group B, or the scores in group B are less scattered than the scores in group A. Okay, so I want you to take note that sa pagtaas ng value ng ating range ay sa pagka scattered ng scores ng ating distribution. And sa pagbaba ng value ng ating range ay sa pagka less scattered naman. Okay? So, or mas dikit-dikit yung ating scores. Okay? Let us now proceed with the range for group data. So, I have captured this picture from our module wherein nakalagay dito what is the formula in getting the range for group data. So, range is equal to HE sub UB minus LE sub LB. Okay, wherein R is the range value, HE sub UB is the upper boundary of the highest entry, and then LE sub LB is the lower boundary of the lowest entry. Okay, so let us use this in an example. So we have here an example wherein we are asked to find the value of the range of the scores of 50 students in mathematics test. Okay, so provided na dito ang column for the lower class boundary and the upper class boundary. Okay, so now, hanapin lang natin or isulat natin yung formula. We have R is equal to HE sub UB minus LE sub LB. Okay. Okay, so first, we have to find the highest entry. Okay, so highest entry dito and then, sa highest entry makikita natin ay yung class interval kung saan makikita ang pinakamataas na score. So, probably, kapag naka-arrange ang interval natin from least to greatest, nasa dulo siya. And then, you get the upper class boundary. So, dito, naka-hyphen naman dito, na dito yung score, which is 72.5. Okay? Minus LE sub LB. Okay? Okay, so ito naman ay makikita sa lowest entry. So probably nasa unahan siya, the first entry, and then the lower class boundary of uh, the lowest entry. Kasi ang lowest entry is 25. Okay? So that is 24.5. And then for us to get the range, we just have to get the difference. Okay? So you can use your calculator in getting the difference. So we have 48. So the range is 48. Okay. So as simple as that, meron ka ng value for range. Okay. So for the last part, okay, I want you to answer this. Okay? And this is also written in your module. You're asked to try to find the value of the range of the weights in kilogram of 60 female patients. Okay? So you can stop this video for a while, and then after you have answered, I try to figure out if we have come up with the same answer. Okay, so I hope that you are done answering. Okay, so let us see kung parehas tayo ng sagot. Okay, for the formula R is equal to highest entry, and then yung kanyang upper class boundary, minus the lower class boundary of the lowest entry. Okay, so for this, ang kailangan lang naman nating hanapin is, or ang nawawalang formula or nawawalang column dito is the upper class boundary and the lower class boundary. So, since alam nyo na kung saan hanapin highest entry and lowest entry, pwedeng dun na kayo magdiretso. So, for the highest entry, okay, so from 55 to 89, 89 is the highest entry. And then, for us to get the upper class boundary of 89, so that is 89.5. How about the lowest entry? So, the lowest entry is the lowest score, which is 55, and then we get the lower class boundary. So, that is 54.5. Okay, and then let us substitute. We have 89.5 minus 54.5. Okay, so now let us compute for the range. Again, you can use your calculator in solving our range. Okay, so simply we have 35. This ends our lesson for today. I do hope that through this video, you were able to further understand the lesson and somehow ay nasagot ang inyong mga katanungan regarding our lesson. Actually, the lesson is very simple. Madali siyang maintindihan, and kahit na madali siyang maintindihan, I do hope na nakatulong itong video na ito para mas ma-clarify pa ang ating lesson for today. Anyway, if you have any questions or clarifications regarding the lesson, you can always address those questions during our synchronous class. Okay? So I hope that through this video, you were able to think, wonder, and explore mathematics through measures of variation under range. Thank you very much.